Om Shanti, good evening, welcome.
Santi, good evening. Is
Shanti
Baba
Baba.
Baba yaad hai. Shanti. How is everyone doing?
बहुत अच्छे हैं.
Achhe. Mhm. So today we thought to explore this theme of power of doing nothing. Power of doing nothing. It's not just about physically not doing. It's like many times we think about, I have to do this, I have to do that. So this overthinking about what I have to do or what I have done, it sometimes creates this false illusion that I am the doer, I am doing. And just like Baba touched upon in Sunday's Murli, Baba was saying to remember one word by which we can really get rid of Dehbhan and Dehe Abhiman. Anyone remembers that word? What word Baba said? That just one word Baba said to forget everything else. Ji?
मैं और मेरा.
Main or mera, yes. What else Baba said? Forget everything else, every other point. But if you just remember this one word, you won't have any Deh Abhiman.
करण करावन हार बाबा.
Yeah. Karan Karavanhar, Baba. Baba said Baba is Karan Karavanhar. And so really if we look at this word Karan Karavanhar, it has two words, right? Karan and Karavan. So Karanhar means the one who does, and Karavanhar means the one who inspires to do. And so Karan Karavanhar, Baba means Baba is actually doing everything. And Baba is enabling, inspiring everything to be done. Om Shanti. Sanjay, welcome. And so this thought was emerging. It's like the moment I feel I have done something, in that very moment, it's like this head of Ravan crops up. Right? And so, I was just thinking this today, and it happens to all of us, right? Let's say someone has offered me a very nice dish, food, right? And let's say I'm at Baba's home, for example, and I'm eating something very delicious. And as I'm eating, what would be the question that will come in my mind as soon as I eat it? Generally, it happens like that.
Who made it?
Who made it? Right? Second question is who made it? Right? It's always like that's our default way of thinking. It's not wrong, but that's the way we generally think as human beings, right? But then if we really think about it, what Baba is saying is, Baba enabled the other person to. So it's not that we don't appreciate them, we do. But internally, we also know and feel that it is Baba. Baba is feeding me, Baba who has enabled it to be, made. But if we really see who made the food, suppose we made poha, right? So who made the poha? Someone brought the ingredients, right? Someone would have grown the ingredients first. Someone would have packed it, delivered to the store. Someone who has gone to the store, brought it, right? And then there is someone who got the utensils, someone actually who made the utensils in the first place, right? And then this gas, right? This gas is coming from somewhere. And actually, the one who is cooking is not really doing much. I mean, if you really see, all the ingredients are there, you just mix it, there is heat, there is vessel, it automatically gets cooked. We don't do much actually. These days in rice cooker, we actually don't do much. We just mix. And so this illusion of doing, that I'm doing something, this is a big illusion actually. Think about it. Like how things are happening around me, it's not necessarily I'm doing something. Things are happening around me. It's like the difference between a doer and a facilitator. A doer and a facilitator. It's like in the presence of that person or soul, things begin to happen. So I'm not doing actively. Let me give another example. Let's say in the body, there's so many functions that are happening. So there is breathing going on, there is digestion, there is blood circulation, right? Filtration, there's so many things happening. How are they happening? By itself. And what else? How are they happening? What will leave and then nothing will work?
The soul?
Yeah, the soul, really. It's only when the soul is present in the body are the functions of the body working. The moment the soul leaves, nothing will work. So in the presence of the soul, automatically everything is happening. It's like I don't have to consciously say, now air, come inside. I don't have to consciously say, food, now get digested. But in the presence of the soul, everything is happening. And so the soul is not the doer, right? It's happening on its own. But soul is in that way the facilitator. Because in the presence of the soul, things begin to happen. Everything happens. This is amazing if you really think about it. This whole life, it's amazing, right? And so if we really look at the word Karan Karavanhar, also what Baba said in Sunday's Murli, it's like, in Baba's presence, when I, the soul, am connected to Baba, Baba is there in my mind, and I don't have anything else in my mind, then that presence of God's energy automatically enables everything to be done. I don't have to consciously think about doing something. Because it is only when I consciously think too much about doing something, then I lose myself in the task and I become task conscious. And it is then when I become task conscious, then I'm more susceptible to reactions. Then I get busy, I feel I have to do this, I get tired. And then I'm more susceptible to reacting. Like Dadi was saying in today's class, we become restless. And when we become restless, it is then the soul needs rest. The soul really needs rest. Needs the soul to realize that really I'm not doing anything. I'm not even responsible for anything. I'm only responsible for my stage, nothing else. And things will automatically happen. And so on one side there is Baba, one side there is drama, and they're both working together. There is friendship of Baba and drama. They're working. And what I need to do is to just be aware of the reality and align myself to the truth. But Baba is really telling us every day is this. That's what I do. And the more I do, the more I'm just aware of that, then everything automatically begins to happen. And then when I know that I'm not the doer, then there is no, then I'm not falling into the trap of, what Baba says, te abhiman. Very subtly it will come. Mhm. Because then it's like, if I feel something didn't work out, I'll feel disheartened. And if I feel something really was good, I'll feel no one gave me credit of doing it. Mm. And so then what I really need to do then, like Dadi was saying, and in all the Dadis we have seen that, Dadis would be very relaxed, but also ever ready. It's like their mind will work on based on catching the signals of trauma. So as soon as they feel this needs to happen, they'll be ready. They won't, okay, अब ये क्या करें, इसका क्या करें, ये क्या होगा, नहीं, ever ready. Like, it's not like the power of doing nothing. When I feel I'm not doing anything, then I can actually be ever ready. Mm. When we say Baba is doing everything, right? Baba is getting everything done. Then where is the room for the soul's effort? Because we also say that the reward of our effort is what we get later on. Right? So what is the effort really? And if we see connection, and on the field of service, if we really see Baba is anyways getting everything done through one medium or another medium. But where the soul really makes his fortune is in being ever ready. It's like, am I ready? Am I available for God's task? So, and with this intention, with this knowing that Baba is getting everything done, but I have to be ready. If a service comes my way, am I ready to grab it, grab the opportunity and just, or then, because if I'm in the task mode, then I'll think about it. How can I do it? How will it happen? I'll begin to plan it. But what Baba says is, no, just be ever ready, say Hanji. Means you have trusted Baba, you have trusted Rama, and then things fall into place. So it's like I'm not intentionally trying to do something or accomplish something. But my inner attention is just on myself, on Baba, and I'm just making everything very clean and clear inside. And so in science, they say doing mode versus being mode. Doing mode versus being mode. And we all know that we are not human doings, we are human beings. Right? And the more I get into it, so that's what I also feel, my own journey also. It's like when I make task a priority in my mind, it is only then that I, tend to fall down from my stage. And so in Baba saying Karan Karavanar, that one word, it's like I'm giving Baba the priority, not the task. So whilst performing the task internally, my focus is on, okay, Baba, tell me what to do, Baba, tell me what to do. It's like I'm internally communicating with Baba. And I'm just seeing how the task is getting done. So there is a little video about the doing mode versus the being mode. And let us watch this video.
Now we're going to look at two different modes our minds can operate from: doing mode and being mode. Doing mode is our analytical mode of mind. It's what we use for analyzing situations logically and rationally, or making judgments or comparisons, setting and achieving goals, and creating and implementing plans. Doing mode is effective for solving problems and accomplishing concrete tasks. Doing mode helps us get from point A to point B. In doing mode, we start with an idea of how we want something to be, some sort of goal or plan. Then we compare this to how things are right now. And then, if there's a difference between the way things are right now and the way we want them to be, we figure out what needs to happen to close this gap. And we come up with a series of steps designed to take things from A to B. And then we monitor our progress, test hypotheses, and make adjustments until we end up where we want to be. The alternative to doing mode is being mode. Being mode involves simply paying attention to our experiences non-judgmentally, the way that they are in the present moment. And so being mode is a mode that we're operating from when we're being mindful. In being mode, we're not judging our experiences, and especially not our internal experiences of thoughts, feelings and emotions, and body sensations, as good or bad, pleasant or unpleasant, desirable or undesirable. We're not trying to fix or solve or figure out anything. We're simply allowing things to be however they are in the present moment, just paying attention to whatever's here and being rather than doing. Being mode is generally the mode of mind that we're in if we're relaxed or doing something relaxing, like listening to music or reading for pleasure, or enjoying a cup of coffee on a lazy Saturday morning, or taking a bath, or doing yoga or meditation, or any sort of quiet reflection or prayer, or going for a walk, especially out in nature, or listening to someone talk without worrying about what we're going to say next, or just mindfully doing any routine activity throughout our day. Now let's look at some of the characteristics of being mode and contrast them to doing mode. Doing mode involves things such as judging, planning, categorizing, evaluating, and problem solving, and takes things on from an analytical, logical, rational, and quantitative perspective. On the other hand, being mode involves awareness, noticing, watching, exploring, and observing, and using intuition, creativity, curiosity, and operating from a qualitative perspective. While doing mode is about taking control, fixing things, and making them a certain way, being mode is about acceptance and openness, willingness, allowing, and letting be. In doing mode, we're busy and productive. In being mode, we're more still and relaxed. Doing mode involves a lot of thinking, while being mode is more about feeling. Doing mode is future-oriented and goal-directed. Being mode is present-oriented and focused in the moment. It's important to remember that what we're talking about here by doing mode and being mode are modes of mind. We're referring to what's going on with our minds and not what's going on with our behavior. We don't need to use our doing mode of mind every time we do something. As we've been learning, anything we do, we can do mindfully. And when we do things mindfully, we're engaging our being mode of mind rather than our doing mode of mind. And since doing mode and being mode are modes of mind and not referring to what we're actually doing at the time, you could be lying on the couch all day and not physically doing anything, yet your mind could still be engaged in doing mode, thinking, planning, ruminating, dwelling on things. Your mind can be doing a lot, even though physically you're not doing anything. Or you could have an action-packed day in which you're doing lots of things, but if you're doing them mindfully, your mind may be primarily operating out of being mode, despite the fact that you're doing so much. And so being mode and doing mode refer to what's going on in your mind, regardless of what you're doing physically and the types of activities you're engaged in. And in the next video, we'll learn how to reduce stress and calm our emotions by spending less time in doing mode and more time just being. And please hit the like button.
Dadi Janki always, as you know, used to be at a very busy schedule, and as like all the dadis, but she was always in a very relaxed state of mind. She never said, I'm busy. Like even today, we were watching her interview. The interviewer asked her, Dadi, you're always busy. And he said, don't use the word busy. I'm never busy. Like busy and easy is what generally Baba says. Busy and easy. It's like doing nothing. I'm easy eternally. Because I'm just a witness. I'm seeing everything happen around me. And so I find myself many times whenever there is a lot of pressure, I feel that there is a pressure of things. This has to be done, that has to be done. It is then that I need to remind myself, no, just take it easy, just relax. Things will happen. You don't need to think too much about anything. Just be relaxed. And then I've often noticed when I'm relaxed, then everything happens. It's अपने समय पर जिसको जब होना है तब हो जाता है. और बहुत ज्यादा सोचते हैं तो फिर हम नहीं कर पाते हैं. और कर भी पाते हैं तो उसके रिजल्ट के बारे में फिर सोचते रहते हैं, कैसा हुआ क्योंकि हमने बहुत सारा अपना इन्वेस्ट कर दिया उसके अंदर. And then you know what Baba says? Baba uses another word. So this is KK, Karan Karavanar. There's another word that Baba uses, which is NN. You know what is that? NN?
Nothing new.
Nothing new. Good, yes. Nothing new. Nothing new. KK is Karan Karavanar. And NN is nothing new. And so the soul comes into that state of mind ki nothing new. जो लास्ट कल्प हुआ था वही हो रहा है. तो मुझे ज्यादा सोचना नहीं उसके बारे में. जो हुआ था वही हो रहा है. जैसे आज भी था ना, आज की मुरली में संशय के ऊपर था. थोड़ा भी संशय आया तो गिर गए, तब नीचे आ जाएंगे. हमारी स्टेज जो बाबा बना रहे हैं उससे नीचे आ जाएंगे. तो निश्चय भी यही है कि नथिंग न्यू, जो हो रहा है बहुत अच्छा हो रहा है, एक्यूरेट हो रहा है. I'm not creating any thought. वो कहते हैं ना, मिस्टर डाउट और मिसअंडरस्टैंडिंग, दो चीजें हैं, मिस्टर डाउट और मिसअंडरस्टैंडिंग. इन दोनों से ये संशय है. संशय भी यही है कि जब हम and I'm too much focused on एक काम के लिए. Like she would say like Brahma Baba, like दादी आज क्लास में बता रहे थे, Brahma Baba would कोई मिलने के लिए आया तो Baba would be just washing clothes or just doing a very regular activity. हाँ, उनको ले आओ, अभी बात कर लेंगे. बाबा ऐसे नहीं कि हाँ बैठना है एक जगह, ये नहीं, मिल लो ऐसे ही. तो बाबा नेवर लाइक उनके मन में बहुत ज्यादा ये सब नहीं था. जैसे वाज वेरी मच इन द मोमेंट. Even in physics also, physically and medically, they say like athletes or bodybuilders जो एक्सरसाइज करते हैं तो उनकी मसल उस टाइम नहीं बनती है. मसल तब बनती है जब वो रेस्ट कर रहे होते हैं. तो व्हाट दे से इज जितना आपने वर्कआउट किया उतना ही आपको रेस्ट भी चाहिए. So if I worked out 2 hours, I need to rest 2 hours in order for the effect of that workout to materialize, to manifest. So in the same way, it's like when we are saying not doing nothing, it is that state of mind. No? And I'm resting inside. And I've switched off, like a switch off state. So we say drama off, Baba on. Drama off, Baba on. In Chinese, there is another word for this state of mind. It's called Viwu. Viwu. And it's called, the state of flow, where it's doing without doing. That's what they say. Doing without doing, or effortless action. So what I'm essentially doing is just to constantly pay attention. Pay attention. That's it. And then rest, everything happens on its own. And so a lot of times, our sisters will tell us, जो दादी जी के साथ रहे, दादी जानकी के साथ, कभी कोई प्रोजेक्ट होगा, कभी कोई सेवा का कुछ होगा, तो दादी के पास लेके जाएंगे, दादी क्या करना है, डिसीजन तो चाहिए और देना होता है ना. So दादी will say wait and see. Wait and see. सोचो नहीं ज्यादा, वेट, रुको और देखो क्या हो रहा है. So Dadi had a lot of trust in drama. Just say, hold on to the thought, wait and see. मतलब ड्रामा में होगा तो अपने आप होएगा. With full trust, like Dadi would in a meeting, Dadi would sometimes, जैसे दादी ने पहले जब ऑक्सफोर्ड रिट्रीट सेंटर नहीं था, जो लंदन में है, इट्स अ वेरी ह्यूज सेंटर, रिट्रीट सेंटर. तो दादी ने कहा था ऐसा एक होना चाहिए, कोई बड़ा रिट्रीट सेंटर. तो सबने कहा नहीं दादी, कौन संभालेगा, कैसे होगा, पॉसिबल नहीं है, हमारे पास हैंड्स नहीं है, कुछ नहीं है, नहीं हो पाएगा. तो दादी चुप हो गए. दादी ने कुछ फिर आगे सोचा नहीं. ऐसे ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं. फिर दादी लेट इट गो. फिर जब समय आया तो हो गया. Then everyone got the thought also कि हो जाएगा, और हो भी गया. मतलब कहने के इसलिए दादी didn't even think कि हाँ मेरी बात नहीं मानी गई ना. तो वेट एंड सी. जिस समय पर ड्रामा में होना होगा उस समय पर ही होगा. So I don't have to be restless. जिस आत्मा का पार्ट है उस आत्मा के द्वारा हो. हमें बहुत अधीर नहीं होना है. आई थिंक दादी की क्लास में आज भी था पेशेंस, धैर्यता. जस्ट बी वेरी पेशेंट. एंड अपने टाइम पे जो होना होगा अपने आप होगा. इट्स लाइक डूइंग नथिंग. समटाइम वी से शिव बाबा ऊपर बैठे हैं, वो क्या कर रहे हैं? व्हाट इज बाबा डूइंग? सब कुछ करा रहे हैं. और कर क्या रहे हैं? व्हाट इज बाबा डूइंग?
Nothing.
नथिंग. क्या कर रहे हैं?
वो
बाबा
हमें देख रहे हैं कि हम क्या कर
तो
रहे हैं.
देख रहे हैं. Many times Baba will say drama, Baba will say in the Murli कि देखो बच्चे ये करते हैं, माया के वश हो जाते हैं, बाबा को बहाने देते हैं, और बाबा देखकर मुस्कुराते रहते हैं. That's what Baba says. बाबा देखते हैं, मुस्कुराते रहते हैं. Like Baba is not interfering in the drama, ऐसे नहीं बाबा, अच्छा नहीं तुरंत मैं बच्चे को बोलूं कि नहीं, ऐसे नहीं. Baba is not interfering. Because Baba knows कि राजधानी स्थापन हो रही है, हर एक आत्मा का एक्यूरेट पार्ट है, बज रहा है. So not doing anything means I'm not trying to interfere in the drama. हम्म, जो हो रहा है बहुत अच्छा हो रहा है. मेरी जॉब है, my job is to stay detached, stay with Papa, and just watch the show and enjoy it. क्योंकि जब हम द्वापर से नीचे गिरे तो क्या हुआ कि हम बेसिकली एक कर्तापन के भान में ही आए. कर्तापन के भान, मैंने ये किया, ये नहीं किया, ये जो भान है इसी से ही देह अभिमान आया. एक्चुअली देखा है, इसी से स्वार्थ भी आया, कंपैरिजन भी इसी से आया. नहीं, सपोज मेरा कुछ काम है वो किसी और को दे दिया गया तो मुझे बुरा लगेगा कि मैं कुछ कर रहा था लेकिन मुझसे छीन कर किसी और को दिया गया. तो कंपैरिजन होगा, फिर जेलसी भी होगी. पर अगर ये भाव है नहीं कि बाबा करा रहे हैं मेरे द्वारा, मेरे हाथ के द्वारा, या मेरा हाथ तो हाथ है भी नहीं, पर इसके द्वारा है किसी और के द्वारा, कराने वाले तो बाबा है. देयर इज नो कंपैरिजन, देयर इज नो जेलसी. I thought it was a very subtle point what Papa mentioned in the Murli on Sunday. Karan Karavanar. Like Dadi Prakash Mani always used to say कि आप दादी को देखते हो पर बाबा ही करता है, बाबा ही कराता है. And to that extent Dadi has instilled this. Like when Dadi would speak about कि क्या प्रोग्राम हुआ या क्या सेवा हुई, so Dadi would say बाबा दादी के अंदर आए, बाबा ने दादी से ये बुलवाया, बाबा ने ये करवाया. दादी ने किया कभी भी नहीं, दादी मुझसे नेवर. That's what I feel, sometimes जो बाबा वर्ड यूज करते निमित्त या इंस्ट्रूमेंट, उसका भी एक सूक्ष्म अभिमान आ सकता है कि आई एम निमित्त नाउ और आई एम इंस्ट्रूमेंट. रियली में वो भी कुछ नहीं है. इसलिए करण हारी नहीं, करने वाला भी बाबा ही है, कुछ भी नहीं. And then what is it that I really am doing? Like what is my real effort throughout the days? I feel what, it's just to keep on learning. Keep on learning. इस सीन से क्या सीख सकते हैं, इस सीन से क्या सीख सकते हैं. And I keep on learning. When I learn, I automatically grow. Then I have not wasted my day. I've learned something about myself, about Baba, about drama, about so maybe I just pause for a bit and allow their thoughts to emerge. Thoughts anyone like to share at this point?
किसी भी कार्य में ये समझे हम सेवा पर है. ये लास्ट संडे की मुरली में ही कहा.
हम सेवा पर है. वेरी नाइस. राइट. हमने का लौकिक में भी है, कुछ में भी है, पर हम सेवा पर है. अब सेवा में जैसे अपनत्व नहीं होता. एक सेवा में अपने लिए कुछ नहीं है. जैसे सेवा में आई एम जस्ट ऑफरिंग माई सेल्फ to be used by God. That's what the real meaning is. Not seva. Sevak, seva. So no, nothing for myself. No, no sort.
Shanti.
Mm.
So there was a question which came in my mind that while doing the task, which is analytical and strategical,
Mm.
how can we be in a being mode
Mm.
instead of doing mode? And then in the video, where it said that a female is walking,
Mm.
and still she is in a silent
Mm.
mode.
Mm.
So that answered itself that if we have any task
Mm.
which needs analytical mind, maybe judgmental sometime, but still if we are connected and we, as Ben said, that सेवा
Mm.
भाव करके चले तो अच्छा रहता है,
Mm.
तो हल्का हो जाता है.
हल्का हो जाता है. Very nice. I've always felt like कभी भी कोई analytical task है, so I felt like what has worked for me is like जिससे ना थोड़ा थोड़ा बाबा की याद बनी रहे, मतलब क्योंकि analytical task में consciously we have to actually go into the details also. और उस टाइम जैसे ना I felt कि बीच बीच में थोड़ा ब्रेक लेते जाते हैं, जैसे कि सपोज कुछ सोचना है तो ऐसे अच्छा अगर अभी 10:40 हुआ है फॉर एग्जांपल, अच्छा 11 बजे सोचेंगे, 20 मिनट्स रिलैक्स, फिर 11 देखिए 11 से 11:15 तक सोचेंगे, फिर रिलैक्स. मतलब ऐसे नहीं कि वो कॉन्स्टेंटली बैक ऑफ द माइंड चलता रहे. फोकस किया, विल गेट इट डन एंड देन भूल जाएंगे. ये तो जब बार बार पीछे चलता है then it interferes in my connection with Baba. फिर वो ही बात याद आएगी. कर्म हुआ, बस भूल गया, फिर उसके बाद हो गया, खत्म.
Yeah, very interesting, Saurabh bhai. Om Shanti. जैसे उसमें मतलब फिर कोई भी any type of overthinking, then basically we are, redirecting, rewiring it. कि उसको हमने टाइम अलॉट कर दिया कि इतने टाइम के लिए ही सिर्फ हमने सोचना है 15 मिनट या whatever, and then we'll yeah, that's really interesting, actually interesting way.
Okay, I'm just sometimes feel even one day is so big if you really think about it.
Yeah,
It's a lot of time. We have a lot of time.
yeah,
और जो काम करना होता है, if I'm really, in my best state of mind, it can happen very easily. But कई बार हम वो state में नहीं आते हैं, we keep on sometimes struggling
right.
to do things, but then it doesn't get done also. या करेंगे भी तो उससे प्रॉब्लम से और क्रिएट होती है.
Yeah. और एक्चुअली ऐसे सौरभ भाई जैसे आप बता रहे थे ना पहले कि वो जैसे ड्रामा है, परफेक्ट है, ऐसे ऑफिस में सिचुएशंस तो आती ही रहती हैं उसमें, राइट? वी आर वर्किंग विद डिफरेंट कोवर्कर. तो उसमें जैसे काफी बार जो लाइक पीपल हु हैव रिटायर्ड एंड समटाइम्स दे विल कम बैक एंड दे विल टॉक अबाउट देयर एक्सपीरियंसेस. तो वो हमेशा यही बोलते हैं कि जो भी दे माइट बी द प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ द कंपनी और दे माइट हैव वेरी सीनियर पोजीशन, वो तब भी यही कहेंगे कि लाइक वी फॉरगॉटन एवरीथिंग, जो हमारा टाइटल था, हमारा वो था. What we reflect on is the people that we built a relationship with. So कई बार वो क्या है, हम उस टाइम पे like when we are zoomed in, तो वो चीज ध्यान नहीं रहती, but then all these people they always share that वो day to day में क्या इशू हुआ या क्या इंटर डिपार्टमेंट क्या हुआ, वो they forget all that.
True, very true.
Yeah.
And to your point, today when we were listening to Dadi's class, Dadi was saying that कई बार जब हम सेवा के क्षेत्र में आते हैं तो कर्म में इतने बिजी हो जाते हैं कि सब कुछ भूल जाते हैं कि हम पर काम से आए हैं, अभी वापस आए हैं.
Yeah.
ये ड्रामा चल रहा है. हाँ,
Right.
मतलब सेवा, जैसे सेवा कहे या किसी और चीज में भी, मतलब जो बहुत इन्वॉल्व हो जाते हैं यानी उस
Hmm.
टास्क में ही इन्वॉल्व हो जाते हैं, so then that
Yeah.
is हम सब कुछ भूल जाते हैं फिर
Right.
कि
Right.
कौन सा समय चल रहा है, यू नो कि अभी मुझे क्या करना है, ये क्यों हम कर रहे हैं, सब भूल जाते हैं.
Yeah.
That is देह अभिमान.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
देह अभिमान. I
Right.
became too role conscious,
Right.
completely lost the plot. और उस
Hmm.
टाइम when I'm in देह अभिमान, the sign would be I'll be very sensitive.
Hmm.
तब थोड़ा भी कुछ ऊपर नीचे होगा तो तुरंत गुस्सा है,
Right.
तुरंत फिर anything can just I'll become very sensitive.
Right.
बाबा ने मुरली में कहा था ना, यदि थोड़ी सी भी फीलिंग आ जाती है, दैट मीन्स इट्स देह अभिमान.
देह अभिमान, right. Hmm.
Saurabh, Deha Abhiman is body consciousness.
Hmm. Yes.
Right. So that's not, we don't want that, right?
Yes.
I think so. I think I missed part of Murli's in the morning. So,
Mm.
but I attended part of it this morning. Didn't we talk about that? We should not be Deha Abhimani. Is that what we talked about it this morning?
Yeah. Yeah. So देह अभिमान is basically role. Body consciousness से हम ऐसे कहें role consciousness का है कि I'm just thinking about the role and I've lost completely the
Yeah.
soul. You know?
So
So-
is Dehi Abhimani different thing?
Yeah, देही अभिमानी is soul consciousness.
Oh, I see. I think I got confused between those two words.
Right, right. So देह अभिमान or देह अभिमानी is one who is role conscious. And
Okay.
dehi abhimani is one who is soul conscious.
Oh, I
So-
see. Okay, yeah. Mhm.
Deha is the body and dehi is
Mhm.
the one who is
Oh,
running.
okay. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. That makes sense now, because this morning I was like, why Baba wants us to be Dehi Abhimani, because but Dehi and De, two different words, make
Yes.
total sense. Thank you.
Thank you. Mm. And so that's what Baba said. And एक है देह भान, Sunday. एक है देह भान, एक है देह अभिमान. So देह भान को हम कह सकते हैं body consciousness. और देह अभिमान को हम कहेंगे role consciousness. मतलब I don't feel I'm a body, which I know I'm not this, physical body, but still the role that has been assigned to the body, I'm still, in the grip of it. So देह अभिमान में टास्क कॉन्शियस होना भी देह अभिमान का हिस्सा है, टाइम कॉन्शियस होना भी देह अभिमान का हिस्सा.
Sorry, Saurabh bhai, time conscious matlab,
टाइम कॉन्शियस यानी फीलिंग प्रेशर्ड बाय टाइम.
oh, I see. अच्छा.
टाइम कभी मुझे अभी थोड़ा सा था, मैं अभी ये करना है, अभी ये भी करना है, अभी ये भी करना है,
Yeah.
pressured by time.
Right.
So that is being time conscious.
Hmm.
This time consciousness is interesting because I think we spend all day doing that, and learning that it's not okay to do it. I think that's also part of Maya. It's just shaking me up, which is good. So how do you get rid of it?
Yeah, the practice is the same. To really, align myself to the reality. ऐसे तो है ज़रा भाई, जितना हम, the more time I spend with myself, with Papa, with Murli, है तो वही चीज, effort तो वही है. जो बाबा रोज बताते हैं, to detach from the world, from the body, and remember Baba, and my connection, relationship with Baba. That's the whole effort. Effort तो एक ही है, but धीरे धीरे the sign that I'm actually moving forward is this also, that time conscious भी धीरे धीरे कम होते जाएंगे. The pressure उतना feel नहीं होगा. It's as if there is a higher plan. There's this flow of life, and I'm just flowing with it. I'm not resisting it.
Can I ask you one other question?
Mhm.
I think it's very I'll use the words that we use in day-to-day life, but I know I should not use in this platform, but I think it gets very depressing to do day-to-day activities like, household jobs or even your professional job and things like that, knowing that none of this is going to go with us. None of this is actually it's important because we want to serve the people, the world, but none of this is actually going to go with us. I
Mhm.
sometimes feel like would it be better and easier to just leave all of this and just be in Baba's remembrance like 24/7?
That's a good question, right?
Yeah.
And many of us have had this question, right? But really, if we see that whatever we are doing, we're not doing the entire day. It's like maybe a few hours a day, right? We're engaged in tasks. But that is my practical experience of spirituality. So what I'm sitting and remembering is my, personal, we'll say, I'm remembering Baba, but in practice, how am I able to use my powers? That happens in practical. And only when I have applied the spirituality, only then I build muscle, internal muscle. It's like, so coming onto the field of seva, be it any seva, लौकिक में कहें या लौकिक में, सब तो सेवा है. That is equally important. तो सिर्फ बैठ के याद करना है, पर वो तभी होगा. So it needs a creative outlet also, हमने एनर्जी जमा की बाबा को याद करके, but that needs to be expressed. And so work is basically an expression of our love for God. That's what it is.
Yeah, I think that's a that's a good way to think. Because otherwise sometimes, it's like 12, 14, 15 hours of working, and then you're like, this is not what you wanted to do. You actually just wanted to, have a spiritual growth and yeah, so I think it's a good way to look at.
And so it's also important, like, we have 7 days in a week. Maybe it's also important to take one day off where I'm not doing much and just time for the soul, like complete time. I've taken it out for myself. That's also important. So that resting period is so important. I'm resting and doing nothing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's actually very important. Before this, this soul never heard about nothing. It was all about, learn, keep learning, you need more information so that you can succeed in your professional and personal life. You sounded like an intelligent person, which is actually not true. You can't learn everything. Nothing new gave the reflecting about ourselves, because we stop. Because every time the mind is thinking, It's a very good and this past, I think, month time, it's very much focused on nothing new. Just pause, connect the dots.
Good. Right. Very nice. Right. That's why we say, no, किसी की तबीयत खराब है तो हम क्या कहते हैं उनको? आराम करो. Just rest. That's what we say, ना. भाई आप ना थक गए हो, 2 दिन रेस्ट करो, ठीक हो जाएंगे, ऐसे ही कहते हैं. So rest is basically this doing nothing. You know? देखा जाए तो drama is the field of doing, you know. That's what it is. Drama is a field of doing. Right? So when I'm not doing anything, I'm free from drama. Free from the effect of drama. No drama. Zero drama. Just I, the soul and Baba. That's it. और फिर कर्म में वो जैसे स्थिति अपने आप फिर रिफ्लेक्ट होते हैं. Any other thoughts? There is another video. It's kind of a little long video. Don't know if we have enough time. But आप चाहें तो I can just play that video. अच्छा, ठीक है.
Have you ever reflected on the word doing? Doing points to performance, achievement, effort. It also implies that there's a doer who engages in doing something and that there's a passive element or the thing that's being done. But does it work that way? Is there a separation between the thing that does and the thing that's being done? Or is the thing that does actually what's being done and vice versa? Ancient Taoist writers might urge us to think about doing and not doing a bit differently than we're used to. At the root of Taoist philosophy lies the idea of an all-encompassing force called Tao, from which all elements of the universe derive. From this viewpoint, everything happens as a whole, meaning that activities that seem isolated, individual and independent are part of one big cosmic dance. This means that when we stop doing, from a human perspective at least, the universe, including ourselves, is still moving on. The Tao is the natural flow of existence, in which things aren't forced or controlled, but allowed. This means that it's not entirely clear who or what is the doer, and who or what is being done. Things just happen, so it seems. The flow of existence is something we can live by or resist. If we follow the Tao, our lives will be easy. But if we try to resist, our lives will be difficult. When we're mainly focused on striving and straining because we're convinced that only through effort we'll get where we need to be, we may be swimming against the stream. So what if doing isn't always necessary to get things done? What if many of our actions are a waste of time and energy? What if we can take shortcuts in life if we learn how to embark on the natural course? This video explores the paradoxical art of doing without doing and how we can live life the smart way. From a Taoist viewpoint, everything operates together, as the world is a sequence of components without a governing center. Sure, we could argue that the governing center of the body is the mind, but the mind is also governed by its environment. Without the environment, there is no mind. But without a mind and senses, there is no environment, as there is nothing to perceive it. When we look at the universe, we'll discover that everything is interdependent. There can only be high when there's low, light when there's dark, front when there's back. Or as philosopher Alan Watts stated, there are no bees where there are no flowers, and there are no flowers where there are no bees. The relationship between humans and the environment is similar. Even though we think we're separate from our surroundings, we still need a ground to stand on, food to eat, and oxygen to breathe. If we take a look at our breath, for example, we'll see that we have a choice. When we're conscious of it, we can control the breath, but for the most part, the breath happens to us. We can't live without the breath, and the breath can't exist without us. So who's the doer and who's being done? This system of interdependence is the reason that nothing can arise without an equal opposite. These opposites continuously move around a center, attracting and repelling, influencing and being influenced, merging, separating, being part of one big organism, one big happening. And this system, always in motion, is the flow of the universe, or Tao. In this grand manifestation, we're as much human as we're the universe. Is a drop of water in the ocean a drop, or is it the ocean? And when the ocean waves, is it the drops of water that make the waves, or the ocean as a whole? Terence James Stannis Gray, also known by the pen name Wei Wu Wei, put it beautifully, and I quote, "We are products of our circumstances. The play decides our role. The environment makes us instead of the other way around. As long as there's a you doing or not doing, thinking or not thinking, meditating or not meditating, you are no closer to home than the day you were born." End quote. As human beings, we're part of and subject to the greatness of the universe. But we also are the universe, and the universe has a way of its own. Like a river, it flows at its own pace. Knowing the Tao, therefore, means becoming aware of the flow of life. And once that happens, we can flow with it, effortlessly, and let life carry us, instead of us carrying life. However, this is not what most people do. Force is followed by loss of strength. This is not the way of the Tao. That which goes against the Tao comes to an early end. The Tao represents natural order. It doesn't force, but allows, and everything falls into place. But this rather passive and accepting stance is not endorsed in our culture. We are encouraged to always be striving, always be acting, never be idle, not wait for things to happen, but make things happen. We seem to believe that progress and change are products of action only, and that if we let nature run its course, everything falls apart. But this collective pathological need for control leads to us building sandcastles in the surf. We fight uphill battles, sail off against the wind, and we're exhausting ourselves doing so. We can fight aging, for example, as much as we want by undergoing surgery, by using special anti-aging creams and hair dye, but no one has ever escaped the decay of our bodies, aside from those who died young. Like apples, we grow and then break down and die. How much energy do we spend to fight this inevitable part of life? How much strength can we save by not seeing aging as such a big deal and allow for change to occur? The same goes for time. What's gone is gone. What's ahead lies ahead. We can hold on to a rock, unable to let go of times that lie in the past. By doing so, we don't see what's unfolding to us in the present, as we're only interested in preserving what cannot be preserved, which is the past. In this case, we're doing, but nothing is getting done. So the problem with going against the flow of life is that we're part of it anyway. No matter how tightly we grab a rock or a branch, no matter how fiercely we swim against the stream, the river still carries us in a certain direction, whether we like it or not. It's unavoidable. Nevertheless, waging war against the flow of life is considered the normal thing to do. For some reason, always choosing the path of most resistance deserves respect, even when the results are questionable. But what's normal isn't always good, and what's good isn't always normal. Sometimes it's better not to follow the herd, especially if the herd's behavior gets us nowhere. So, what can we do instead? Being and non-being produce each other. Difficult and easy complement each other. Long and short define each other. High and low oppose each other. Fore and aft follow each other. Therefore, the master can act without doing anything and teach without saying a word. Things come her way and she does not stop them. Things leave and she lets them go. The essence of doing without doing is getting things done without taking action or without effort. Doing nothing means that we let nature do its work as much as possible. We don't control, but delegate. We don't force, but allow. The more we allow things, the more order we will have, as the flow of nature is the order in itself, and disorder appears by our interventions. If we're too busy grasping, we aren't open to the things coming our way. When a fisherman is impatient, he'll only scare the fish away. But when he's patient, the fish might come to him. Doing without doing is the way of the shortcut. The easy way, as Alan Watts put it. It's the art of using any situation to our advantage. There are ways to accomplish this. It all starts with achieving a state of stillness in which we observe and let the dust settle, so we make room for the world to unfold. Instead of trying to figure things out, which often leads to overthinking, we relax and let the insights arise naturally. By being still, it's also easier to adapt to the current situation as we're in a state of observance. Adaptation and flexibility are key if we want the easy way, because every set of circumstances has its advantages, threats, and opportunities. When you can't leave the house, for example, the easy way is to focus on tasks you can do inside and around the house. And when you're in traffic in another country, instead of trying to control and impose your will on this alien situation, the easy way is to go with the flow and be led instead of leading. But it's also a matter of figuring out the course of the water current, so we can get a free ride, so to speak. The sailor who is aware of the wind can use it to his advantage. And people who manage to ride the wave can make a lot of money quickly and easily. That's why people seek to capitalize on trends or even crises, as they can function as a tailwind. Thus, it's also the art of getting the best results with the least energy possible. However, I think it's important to note that the easy way isn't always the good way when it comes to ethics. Doing without doing means that we become receptive to nature's ways, so they can flow through us and carry us where nature wants us to be. Like drunkards, we become soft, loosen up, let go of our inhibitions, lower our guards, give up resistance, and just let things play out. In a way, it's how we fall asleep. We can't force ourselves to fall asleep, but we make it happen, preferably in the right circumstances. This is also the case with creativity. We can't force creativity, but we can create the right circumstances in which the creative flow is more likely to occur. Doing without doing requires trust. Trust that, despite our inaction, change will happen, as change is nature's default. And the more we cease to work against it, the more we allow the universe to take care of itself. Or, as Lao Tzu stated, when you arrive at non-action, nothing will be left undone. Thank you for watching.
Shanti, thank you. Thank you, Baba. Thank you, family. Shanti. Any final thoughts anyone would like to add?
Shanti, I listened to the class. I think it's wonderful.
Sure.
Yeah. Thank you.
ओम शांति। मुझे अच्छा ये लगा कि हम बहुत होते हैं कि दिन भर रात भर प्लान करते रहते हम करते कुछ भी नहीं है। ये सबसे बेस्ट है एक्चुअली। मैं करता हूँ, मुझे करना है करके अगर हम प्लान करते रहेंगे तो काम होगा कुछ नहीं, बस प्लान ही चलता रहेगा। पर अगर हम छोड़ देते हैं कि मैं कुछ नहीं करना, मतलब जो कराने वाला कराएगा, जो करेगा उसी समय करेगा करके अगर उस चीज को समय के लिए और बाबा के ऊपर छोड़ देते हैं तो इजीली हर चीज आपका बिना सोचे बिना एनर्जी वेस्ट किए हम कर सकते हैं। सो इट्स बेटर डूइंग नथिंग, थिंकिंग नथिंग।
Om Shanti Saurabhai.
Piyush bhai.
Yeah, nice session. Yeah, initially I thought what kind of session it would be, like with the topic doing nothing. So, but then yeah, it turned out to be very interesting. And I feel, like sometimes if we let go of things, we don't force um something to happen in our favor or the way we want. Like if we just let it go, eventually it will happen. But like if we try to indulge in getting that thing done, through force or through too much resilience or whatever, like it sometimes take its own turn and you feel that, oh, you feel hopeless in that moment. So like many a times, like we are working on something, we are putting our head down to get that job done, and we feel that like nothing is moving, nothing is, no idea, or we are lost in that in that in the deliverable, but we are not able to deliver that, and we just leave it for a day, and then next day we realize, oh, it was such a simple thing, to get it organized. So yeah, sometimes just switching ourselves off from a particular task helps us getting better ideas and just rewind and refresh our mind and work that way. Interesting session, Saurabhai. Thank you. Om
Thank
Shanti.
you. Thank you.
Om Shanti. Thank you, Saurabhai. So what I would think, going with the flow without resisting. Karan Karavan har kar raha hai sara. And drama is accurate. जो चीज जब होनी है तभी होती है। ओवर थिंक करने से हम रेस्टलेस हो जाते हैं। Going with the flow. Thank you. Beautiful session. Thank you. Om Shanti.
Thank you. Sure. Thank you. Any other final thoughts? Om Shanti. Thank you, Baba. Thank you, family. We'll continue with meditation.